Each of the three parishes that formed Our Lady of the Valley here in EASTHAMPTON had its own identity. That made the merger challenging, especially as two of the churches had to be closed. There was some sadness felt among parishioners. That was nearly 7 years ago, but with the completion of a major renovation project, parishioners are looking to establish a new identity that they hope will revitalize interest in this 133-year-old church. Steve KILTONIC has our story.
There was a time not long ago when EASTHAMPTON Catholics worshipped in 3 separate churches. Polish Catholics held Mass at Sacred Heart of Jesus. French-Canadian descendants worshipped at Notre Dame du Beau Conseil. And just about everyone else, which includes the descendants of Irish, German, and Italian immigrants, called Immaculate Conception home. But in July 2010, that all changed when the 3 parishes consolidated into one new parish renamed Our Lady of the Valley. Immaculate Conception Church was chosen to serve as the house of worship for the new parish. Father Douglas McGonigal has served as pastor of Our Lady of the Valley Parish since the merger. About a year after the first Mass was held, Father Doug said a former Notre Dame parishioner approached him and said,
"Hey, the place really needs to be painted. It still looks like the old Immaculate Conception. If we could get it all painted and make it different, look different inside, that'll help a lot of our parishioners who are coming from the closed parishes to feel that this is more their home."
Father Doug agreed and soon started a church beautification project. In 2010, parishioners launched a fundraising effort which would eventually encompass not only the painting of the interior, but include other elements of the church. One of the first projects in the beautification process was the restoration of the Stations of the Cross, which were original to the church when it opened in August 1884. In 2015, Father McGonigal engaged the services of Vitek Kruta, originally from the Czech Republic, who has many years of experience restoring iconic churches and castles in Germany and the U.S.
The Stations of the Cross here were painted over twice. I had to remove 2 layers of paint and then found beautiful colors in the stations that I was going to bring back to life, including gold leafing, little stenciling details and things like that.
During the renovation process, scaffolding was installed 25 feet above the neo-Gothic church floor. Kruta said it was important to keep the original iconography and colors of the stations intact.
If you, over the years, paint over and some color change, it also changes the iconography of it, or makes it at least confusing. So restoring something like this back to its original is also important from the point of the meaning of the artwork itself.
They went from looking like cartoons to looking like pieces of art.
After seeing Kruta's work, parishioners felt other items in the church could be redone. The stained glass windows, created by the renowned Conic Studios in Boston, were installed in 1958. Kruta redid the window frame tracery, removing the white trim and putting on a full wood grain look, which greatly enhanced their appearance.
The windows are beautiful blue windows. The new wood graining around them, A, you can't see the frame anymore when the windows are lit up, and B, the reds in the windows are now popping.
On January 9, 2017, the church closed, and the work began on the icons of the 12 apostles.
The icons, first of all, they had to be cleaned. They were very, very dirty. It was, according to Father, there was 130 years old dust and dirt on it, which is mostly from burning candles and pollution. So all that had to be very carefully removed, and after that the painting gets touched up, and then the painting itself receives protective varnish, so for next 60, 80 years it's going to be fine.
The decorative frame or stenciling around each of the Gothic icons was also brought back to its original look by Kruta. Father Doug digitally photoshopped the icons so parishioners could see how they would look prior to being restored, which was a big selling point. Flying banners were also added underneath the icons to identify who they were.
With the apostles, that all makes sense, but we had Jesus and Mary. So what are we going to put? Mary? Jesus? Seems kind of silly. But then one day I realized that the icon of Jesus was actually him holding a Sacred Heart. So it became obvious that the Jesus icon would be in Polish, Sacred Heart of Jesus, the name of that parish, and the Mary icon would be in French, Notre Dame du Bon Conseil. And in that way, the 2 churches that physically closed would be forever memorialized.
From the beginning, other artwork and church furnishings from all three of the founding parishes were integrated into the church. The Black Madonna, Our Lady of Czestochowa icon, is on a side altar, while statues of St. Anne, Mary, and Joseph from Notre Dame are on the opposite altar. Father Doug said it's been about 25 years since the last interior paint job.
The 1990 color scheme was a very earthy, dark browns and tans, made for sort of a gloomy church in the middle of the winter time when you had a 4 o'clock mass and it was dark outside. So we decided to go with dove white walls to brighten the place up and lighter tones. The ceiling, though, we kind of went the other way. It's a two-tone ceiling with a dark blue and a light blue with white trim.
To enhance the vibrant colors, energy-efficient LED lighting was installed throughout the church. Hanging lantern lights from Notre Dame were also added. Kruder also installed the 4 cherubs above the sanctuary, as well as all the acanthus leaves on the pillars, common in many churches from the late 1880s. In addition, a brand new confessional was also built. Another project was the altar, which was reconstructed and installed last June, replacing the one that was from Immaculate Conception. In October, Bishop Mitchell Rosansky consecrated the altar at a special ceremony. Father Doug felt the 1990s-era square altar needed to be replaced with something more suitable for concelebrating Mass.
It suddenly hit me we could create an altar from materials from the 3 founding parishes that would then unite together into Our Lady of the Valley. The center of the altar, the main block I call it, that's got the Gothic arches, that's the freestanding altar from Sacred Heart of Jesus Parish. The pews of Notre Dame, the lore is in town that they're American chestnut, and so we thought, well, we could make a base, the pillars and the top to make it larger. We'll make it out of the pews from Notre Dame. And then we had the altar stone from the high altar of Immaculate Conception Parish.
Father Doug came up with the original 3D design concept of the altar, and Bill Hewitt, a longtime furniture maker in town, was given the task of crafting all the various materials from the parishes. After a few design changes, it took Hewitt about a month to complete the altar in his studio. Financing for the altar came from parishioner Louise Cooper, who donated $5,000. The altar dedication started with the altar stone, which was first placed into the altar top, or mensa. After a prayer of dedication, Bishop Rosansky then consecrated the altar by smearing it with holy chrism oil. Incense was also burned. The altar cloth was carried down the center aisle by members of the First Communion class and placed on the altar. Candles and flowers completed the dedication. The cost of the renovations came to $200,000, with scaffolding and painting being the big-ticket items.
We've been joking around here. It took us 6 years to raise all the money to pay for this, and it's only going to take us 2 months to spend every penny of it.
During the 3-month renovation process, all masses were held here in the church basement. Parishioners were, however, invited up to the church to see the progress of the work. Most agreed it was well worth the wait.
When you first come into the church, it seems very bright and welcoming. That's very important. And of course, it's beautiful, but the freshness is very appealing. Light bounces off of everything. It feels like a very sacred space.
My favorite pieces are the saints. I think they look amazing, and I think that the angels they feel like they're just going to come out at you. They're amazing.
I think the colors are outstanding. Everything blends in well with each other, and the stations of the cross are beautifully done. The artwork is just unbelievable.
The Beautification ushers in a new chapter at Our Lady of the Valley Parish, one in which it's hoped unification will prevail over any lingering divisions. For Real to Real, I'm Steve Kiltonic.
And Father McGonigal hopes that the Beautification project will help to attract new parishioners and bring back some of the former parishioners who initially left when the parishes merged.